Sana naman po ay, ang problema kasi is kapag may mga inquiries sa Senado na nakaka um, nakaka-apekto dito po sa pag-achieve natin ng peace, yun ang that doesn't help. So, syempre po, especially kapag na-atake po si Speaker, siya po ang Padre de Pamilya namin. He takes care of us. We need to also take care of him. So, doon din po kami nanggagaling.
Ito na naman, Stella Quimbo naglabas ng pahayag sa isang press conference. Senado, hindi umano nakakatulong. Pero bago ang lahat, maaari kayong mag-subscribe para maging updated sa mga issue at bagong mga balita. Dumipensa nga itong si Stella Quimbo sa kanila umanong Padre di Pamilya sa Kongreso na si Martin Romualdez matapos itong tirahin sa Senado. Dagdag pa ni Quimbo, hindi umano nakakatulong ang Senado sa Kongreso. Narito ang buong detalye.
Ng mga senators. Ano naman po kami, I think lahat naman tayo dito ay peace-loving people. Gusto naman talaga natin yan. And doon po sa pananahimik, klaro naman po sa sinabi ng Presidente, ang kailangan po natin sa ngayon, very clear yung sinabi ng Presidente, healthy and democratic debate. So, hindi po tayo pwedeng manahimik dahil napaka-importante po ng problemang hinaharap natin. Kulang ang trabaho, kulang ang kapital. Kung hindi natin to aaksyonan, patuloy pong aalis ang ating mga kababayan para lamang masuportahan ang mga pamilya nila, iiwanan nila ang kanilang mga anak at asawa. Yun po it's an important problem. We need debate. Sana po ay hindi na lang yung tignan as noise. Yung hindi noise iba yung i-convert natin, debate po siya. At that's the kind of environment that we seek to foster. One of healthy and democratic. Ibig sabihin, let's make the people participate. So sa Wednesday po, meron po tayong roundtable discussion. Invited ang lahat. Nag-invite tayo ng academe, researchers, members of various government agencies. Tatalakayin po natin ang research na ginawa ng CPBRD. So yun, that's an example of activities that we are doing here in the House to promote healthy and democratic debate as instructed by the President. And number two, sana naman po ay, ang problema kasi is kapag may mga inquiries sa Senado na nakaka-apekto dito po sa pag-achieve natin ng peace, yun that doesn't help. So, siyempre po, especially kapag na-atake po si Speaker, siya po ang Padre de Pamilya namin. He takes care of us. We need to also take care of him. So, doon din po kami nanggagaling. So, but, enough said, ang sa amin is, we will stick to healthy and democratic debate.
May lang kami, di ba? In effect, I think we're shelving PI. That should be clear to them because that is the instruction of the President. Kumbaga, ano ba yung tawag doon? Cryogenics? Bubuhayin lang namin kung kailangan. So, effectively, the instruction of the President is let the Senate do its work on RBH 6 and then the House essentially, because that is the implication naman ng 10650 when so hindi naman sa nagrarason ako, but 10650 sabi, so by what rules and regulation naman will we do PI? There's no more rules governing PI. The IRR has been shelved. So effectively, the shelving of the 10650 is in effect a shelving of the PI. So hindi ba, I think sapat na yun para sa Senado na there is no sword of Damocles over them. And that's why, although may mga disagreement kami with respect to the urgency or the deadlines, but at least, we can now have the poison in the atmosphere is no longer there. Wala na dun. Kasi nga, so yun ang implication ng speech ni Presidente doon sa CONSA, at yun din ang implication ng pag-shelve ng COMELEC ng 10650. Again, let me repeat, by what rule will the signatures be gathered when the rules have been set aside? So effectively, wala ng PI for now.
SDS.
So it's in a state of cryogenics. In this cemetery.
SDS.
Well, good morning sa mga kaibigan sa media. Well, ako naman nandito araw-araw sa almost every day for our press conference. And I was in Makati, Shangri-La last Thursday
Pagbigyan na natin.
with the speaker, of course, DSJJ, Chairman Stella, and of course, Joey Kinig. Ang masasabi ko lang, it's very loud and clear from the President. Number two, we will follow the President. The Speaker will follow the President at kami po lahat dito sa miyembro ng House of Representatives. Number three, while on my way, I'm listening to Joey and Stella, talaga naman. Ito na yung laman. Ito na yung discussion. Ito ang sinasabi ni Presidente na healthy democratic discussion ng ating economic provisions. Kaya ngayon po nga oras na to, nag-hearing din sa Senado, sana magtugma na po itong pinag-uusapan natin para dito sa ating dream na magkaroon tayo ng economic provision na charter change. So yun lang po. Maraming salamat at of course our speaker na talagang hindi na masyadong nakakapahinga dito sa mga usaping ito. So maraming salamat po.
Big Samintak of follow-up. Okay, sige.
Sir, you mentioned about Council said that in fact, I think we are shelving PI. That should be clear to them. So, can we say na Congress or Camera
Mali yung word.
nasa likod po
It's
ng
not should be
PI?
an active word. Effectively, PI is shelved
Because of the temporary suspension.
because of the suspension of 10650. So that should clear the air. So takes away the poison, di ba? Pero let the country also be in awe about the democratic process. At no time since 1987 are we so close to finally changing the Constitution. We are so close. Except that the Senate wants to change only 3% of it, whereas the House wants to change almost 20% of it
For economic provisions.
for economic provisions. So, yun lang. On the average, our FDI to total GDP is only 2%. Since 19...
Pero just to add while you're looking, yung 20% Chair Joey, that does not include land, di ba?
Sorry, sir. Sir, can I follow up lang? Kasi Senator Escudero said po last week lang, sabi niya po sa mga kongresista, lumantad ng mga kongresista, be accountable and admit to the public that they are truly the ones behind the Speaking People's Initiative instead of doing a strict case. Tapos may sinabi pa po siya, those advocating for charter change at this time should present before the Senate Committee credible data na yun nga, yung mga sinasabi po na business community ang pagkamienta. So regarding nila po dun sa admission, be accountable and admit to the public that they are truly the ones behind the Speaking People's Initiative. Your comment po. Thanks,
The
Senator.
comment is, I think it's incumbent upon everyone to follow the president.
And when it comes to showing data, I think
Ayan.
both of them just showed it.
Ito pong
Ano pa ba ang
2016 ASPBI, nagpunta pa kami mismo sa PSA because this is confidential data. So nagpadala
know
pa tayo
that.
ng tao, yes.
Nabigla
Para
na
lang,
ako, napulot
in
mo.
fairness, di ba? Ganun katindi ang ginagawa po natin na empirical approach to understanding Econ Jaja. And at the same time, as I said, on Wednesday, our own research unit, CPBRD, will present their own findings. Tinignan nila ang FDI inflow sa buong ASEAN, kinumpare nila sa level of restrictiveness, at doon, tinignan ko na ang results. Klaro din na kapag less ang restrictions, mukhang dadami ang FDI inflows. So, hindi naman po hindi kami tumitingin sa datos. At ito na nga po, sinishare po natin. But, again, it's nice na umupo tayo at magbalitaktakan tungkol dito. So, yun ang ating wish para sa Valentine's Day.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay na, Marian. We acknowledge Big Sumintak of Net25 for his question, and then Lenesca Panti of GMA Online.
So we know na yung House of Representatives, based on your statement after the speech of the President, you are more than willing to follow the President. Kaya lang ang problema doon sa Senado, although based on the previous press con by the House leadership, na nag-commit si Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri by March na matatapos nila yung RB86, yung kanilang version, and you are willing to adapt yung kanilang version. Kaya lang, ang problema, sabi ni Senator Angara, by October pa nila ma-actionan yun. At sabi niya, baka mapolitika. So, ano ang dapat gawin ngayon ng is it necessary that the President na magsalita uli o yung Senado? Trabaho na kayo. Kasi sa inyo, malinaw yung signal ng Presidente. Pero on the part of Senate, as bicameral system tayo, mukhang malabo sa kanila yan.
Alam mo, may gray area kasi. Pag natapos na nila, kailangan pa rin magpatawag ng Constituent Assembly na yun ang magiging yun ang magiging agenda ng Constituent Assembly. And in that Constituent Assembly, definitely it will be discussed, and therefore it is receptive to certain refinements. So yun ang ibig sabihin siguro ni Senator Angara. Matapos man nila ng March yan, we still need to constitute ourselves as a Constituent Assembly. It is very clear. I've been reading all the statements of the framers of the Constitution. They all say that hindi kami pwedeng approve dito, may approve din doon. So tapos magbabay-cam, wala mang ganun. So ang sinusubukan lang ng Senate is to have their own, which will be the proper, kung kami tatanggapin na, okay, si Mix will say, okay, we hereby convene the House and the Senate into a Constituent Assembly. Tapos yun, yung napag-usapan nila ang magiging parang yung sa atin din, di ba? Pinadalan din natin sa kanila. Okay, we are hereby calling the Constituent Assembly with the CONCON as the essentially as the basis, or the RBH2. RBH2 as the basis for the discussion of the Constituent Assembly. So I can understand that from that very generous perspective that the Constituent Assembly still has to discuss what the Senate will approve. Po?
Makakatagal pa rin yun po.
Ganito talaga ang demokrasya. Pero sabi ko sa iyo, sa talambuhay ko, ngayon lang tayo ang lapit-lapit, malapit-lapit na. Kasi I've been an analyst
Apot kamay.
for much of my mature life. At lagi sinasabi sa lahat ng analysis sa lahat ng country sa buong mundo na ang Pilipinas ang pinakamasikip pasukin. Dahil nga, we are the third most restrictive economy in the world. And all those restrictions are in the Constitution.
Yun ang problema.
Yan ang problema. We're the third. Sino ba talo lang natin?
Wala.
Meron? Saan pa yun? Ha?
Well, dun sa mga kapitbahay na lang natin, di ba? Kasi kalaban natin sa investments.
Ang talo natin, Libya.
Algeria. At Palestine.
Algeria,
Yung mga
Palestine.
tinalo din natin sa teams.
Oh, yun lang. Yun din ang tinalo natin sa team, sa Kapisa. Oh, yun. Eto. Tayo ang pinakamasikip. So, at least ako masaya-saya na ako na may gumagalaw na sa Senado.
development.
At sana, pagdating dito sa House, magkakaroon tayo ng isang vigorous
Healthy
discussion.
debate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ako, just to add, binasa ko actually yung transcript nung interview ni Sen Sunny. Hindi naman niya sinabi na October. Ang sinabi niya, ang latest is October. Yun ang sabi niya, latest. Pero, kung mas maaga, mas maigi. Sinabi naman niya yun. So, and this was before the President spoke. So, tingin ko, baka maging iba ang kanilang pagtingin dito. And number two, babalikan ko yung very restrictive economic provisions. Again, it's because our economic policies are cast in stone in the Constitution that makes us unattractive. So, ang gusto natin is gawin siyang legislation as opposed to Constitution. In other words, sa Kongreso na lang ipapasa ang mga batas or ang mga ahensya na lang ang maglalabas ng mga regulations. Ang kagandahan kasi doon is kung sakali man nagkamali ang Kongreso, hindi naman infallible ang Kongreso, pwedeng itama. Yun di ba? It cuts both ways. So kung mali, halimbawa, sa restrictions on ownership, sa tingin natin sa ngayon, biruin mo, mass communication, advertising, zero. Hindi pwedeng pumasok at all. O, ano ang tamang numero? Pwede natin pagdebatian.
Kaya nagsara CNN.
O, yun na nga, CNN Philippines nagsara. O, so halimbawa, we started with, sabihin natin, 75%. Pero kung nagkamali tayo, pwede natin baguhin, pwede natin pababain. So, yun ang value ng paglilipat ng mga economic policies away from the Constitution towards legislation.
Ma'am, one last na lang. So, hinihintay po ng House yung approval ng Article 6, which is Constituent Assembly. So, may isang punto doon na maaaring magkaroon na naman ng problema is yung pagboto. Kung nagkakaroon kayo ng nag-convene as Constituent Assembly, voting separately or jointly. So, ano yung pinaka-middle ground na
Malaman middle.
Separately or jointly?
Malaman middle ground na yun.
Wala.
Pag na-approve na nila, si Senate President Subiri or jointly with the Speaker will call us into a Constituent Assembly. And we will vote separately. Because bicameral nga eh. Hindi naman nila napalitan yun. Yun lang naman eh. So, the burden of the proof is on the unicameral school of thought. Because they changed it to bicam, pero hindi naman nila na bicam yung buong constitution pagdating sa mga proseso. So, sa tingin ko, pag basta-aprobahan lang nila yung gusto nilang ipatawag, so, magdi-declare sila, yung Senate is now ready for a Constituent Assembly, and we invite the House to join us, or they join, they say, okay, we are now constituted as a Constituent Assembly. So, yun ang nga problema dyan eh. Pag in-approve nila dyan, pagdating sa Constituent Assembly, sky is the limit din naman ang topic dun eh.
Hindi maliwanag. Konsensya lang tayo.
Yun ang problema dyan eh. Kaya hindi ko maintindihan kung ano yung pinag-aawayan. Kasi pag nag-Constituent Assembly tayo, ganun din. Kaso, doon sa isa, panalo agad yung House. Sa PI, di ba? Pero ngayon, at least ngayon, pag voting separately, we can discuss the whole thing, even those things which they call political. Because we have to constitute, there's no way that we cannot constitute a Constituent Assembly to change. It's either we call a CONCON, ayaw Manila, we have a Constituent Assembly, which is probably will have some form of or PI, which they don't like. So we have only one recourse, Constituent Assembly. But once we're constituted assembly, any topic can now be raised. So, okay lang, but at least we're there. We're very near like that.
Sir, you're recognized.